Hey guys, welcome back to Bixby's Beer Reviews. Always a pleasure to have you here with me once again. Going to be continuing our wonderful jaunt through those two amazing islands in the South Pacific, our hashtag New Zealand Hop series. Today, once again, going to one of my very, very favorite breweries here in the Commonwealth I call home, out of Richmond, Virginia, Väsen Brewing. Today we've got Mau Rakau, which, as its name implies, uses the wonderful Rakau hop from down in New Zealand. Rakau is something I would like to think of a favorite hop of Väsen because I've seen them do so many wonderful beers with this hop. There's one they did last year that's called Rakau. Väsen, if you're seeing this, please bring it back. I loved it so very much. But for today, I think we'll be able to make do with this. It's a classic 8% hazy silver can. Of course, it's Väsen, so you know they go the extra mile on the malt bill. They have not just the oats and wheat that you come to expect to give it that pillowy juiciness. Also got some wonderful German spelt in here. We'll talk about spelt later on. I got a special beer that uses that I want to share with you. But for right now, let's crack this one open and take a look. So there's another kind of a Väsen hallmark that I should talk about, which is that they use a Norwegian strain of yeast you've probably seen around called quake yeast. Only really been prominent in the United States since about 2011, but it's something that Väsen really takes a lot of pride in. You'll notice this ring they have around their classic reindeer here. That's I think it's called a quake ring or something like that. It's an old wooden ring that in old Norwegian brewing, I believe they used to sort of dip into the beer and keep the yeast alive until the next batch. It's almost as valuable to the brewer as it is to the drinker because, as I understand it, you can push the fermentation temperature of quake yeast well up into 100 degrees and it won't give any off flavors like a lot of strains will. Of course, for us, it always ferments clean. It's really good at letting hop flavors shine through. So it's done a lot to really make these superlative hazies, especially in a place like Väsen, more accessible to us. But we're talking about quake yeast because you know what this beer looks like. All right, we looked at it. Let's give it a smell. Like so many wonderful Väsen beers, this one is just an absolute powerhouse of delicious hop aromas. The biggest aroma I get right off the bat is some very fresh pear and a little bit of apricot. It goes slightly to the tart and then slightly to the lighter sweet orchard fruits. A really wonderful combination. And then it quickly goes to a slightly sweeter place. I'm getting, some plums, some strawberries, some slightly richer fruits. And it really does kind of span the gamut of citrusy orchard fruits all the way to stone orchard fruits. And that's a hallmark you're going to see of Rakau. And it's not a coincidence that what Väsen has done here is they've comboed Rakau with Mosaic and Citra. Mosaic and Rakau, in my experience, play very well together because they both sort of have a very broad spectrum of possible aromas that you can get depending on what other hops are used or how much of it's used. And so I really tend to think of Rakau as sort of fulfilling that Mosaic role in a lot of New Zealand hop beers. But that's what it smells like. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Just an absolute juice bomb. Those wonderful pear flavors pretty quickly give way to some much more intense orange, lime, and grapefruit. The Citra hits a lot harder in the flavors here. But it still does bring some of the kind of fruity pebbles-ish of the Mosaic into it too. I'd say it's less of an intense stone fruit like it was in the aroma, and more of just kind of a generally sweet, kind of candied summer fruit flavor I get through the finish. And as I sip it more, I am starting to get some sweeter summer fruits, a little bit of peach to go along with that pear, a little bit of apple, and even just a little bit of mango towards the end. I would say it starts out more citrusy and gets sweeter the more you drink it. So it's a really interesting beer. Another wonderful juice bomb from those folks at Väsen. I love their beers so very much. As I said, if you're looking to check out Rakau, I think it works really well in our hashtag 3-hop theory that we've talked about as the anchor hop between other more assertive either American hops or New Zealand hops. Because again, if like Mosaic, it can provide a very broad spectrum of fruit flavors. Here, unlike Mosaic, I think that they're just a little bit more towards the sort of orchard fruit, again from apples and pears all the way down to sort of plums, apricots, things of that nature. But it can fulfill that anchor hop role very, very well. So thanks for joining me to check out another New Zealand hop. We're not done by any stretch of the imagination. There are so many beautiful hops from those two islands for us to check out. So I hope you'll join me next time when we do. And until then, bye now.